Good morning, good morning, good morning. I am the Pimp Messiah, your host for the Quiet Storm live trading session for New York for October the 13th, 2025. We're going to get started right at the half of the hour. Got, I think, 10 signals to evaluate going into the live, and it should be a pretty fast-paced session once the liquidity starts to hit the market. So let's have some fun. We're going to be going from 7:30 a.m. Central Standard Time to 10 a.m. Central Standard Time for the New York session. So, all right, here we go. Going to start off with Melania. We're going long on crypto right now, so we're not going to be taking any shorts. So we're not going to take that particular call. We have Solana on the 1 hour. Again, another short. Going to ignore that. Got KNC on the short. Going to ignore that. Have another Solana on a short. We're going to ignore that. Render, no. Access, no. Out. They're really trying to trick people into getting in this market going short. It's just not a good idea right now. Unless, of course, you don't like money. All right, so we've got nothing new at the start of the session. You might have some hits on futures in a few minutes. Those should pop around 7:35 if there are any that are valid. So our next entry to the market will be at 7:45 a.m. Central Standard Time. And that's about 12 minutes from now. Meanwhile, let's get back to reviewing Bitcoin. We've been tracking that forming uptrends on lower time frames as it starts to recover price over time. The working theory is that Bitcoin will recover all of its losses from the Trump announcement on China tariffs last week, which means it needs to gain another 9,000 points or so to get to just north of 125,000. It is up 12,400 points from the bottom of 102,000 from that more than $20 billion liquidation of the crypto market. Right now, it's in the middle of the Asian range from yesterday. New York marks the end of the Asian range. So here we are. 12 minutes out from 7:45 a.m., 7:33 in the morning. Welcome. So to form the uptrend on the 15-minute, what we'll be looking for is for the aqua line, the 50 EMA, to be on the top, the gray line, the 200 EMA, to be in the middle, and the blue line, the 800 EMA, to be on the bottom. Right now, we're in a bit of consolidation. Now, prior to the opening of the New York Stock Exchange, we had a drop in Bitcoin of about 800 points. Looks like all the liquidity from the American market is starting to reverse that. And I expect us to have quite a big move of about 3,000 points during the New York Exchange today. That ends at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time today. Of course, you have the daily reset of the crypto market at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time later this evening. Now, just caught something on Ethereum, which I believe is going against that same short So yeah, it's just not happening. So my advice to you is that if you have someone trying to tell you to go short on crypto, do not listen. Buys only for the moment. There is a very massive buy rally going on Bitcoin. To drive that home, here is a massive order block for buys at about 11,800 that is powering this buy right now. The only reason it hasn't taken off is that there's 3 order blocks of resistance before the top of the Asian range. When it breaks through all of this, Bitcoin is going to take off flying for about 3,000 points. And that's going to happen eventually. It's going to keep testing these blocks until it breaks through them. And then we're off into the races. Now, if we happen to get some major news alongside with this, we may have quite a day. But I am expecting Bitcoin to get up to around 117, 118,000, somewhere in that range today. It looks like Strategy did make a big purchase of Bitcoin about 15 minutes ago. $27.2 million in Bitcoin. We have the Security and Exchange Commission ready to decide on 6 XRP ETFs in 5 days. That's on Friday. So that's going to be interesting. Marathon bought 400 Bitcoin during the drop to 102. And then we did have $3.2 billion of cash inflows last week. The last time we had that amount, Bitcoin shot to its all-time high of almost $127,000. Needless to say, this is going to be a pretty interesting week. Now, if I had to venture to guess when this breakout is going to start to become more pronounced, it'll be at the top of the hour. It is just pre-trading right now for the New York Stock Exchange. Actual liquidity doesn't start for an hour. That's at 8:30 Central Standard Time. That's a full hour from now. But we do have an hourly candle coming up. So that should shake up some things as we start to see pre-orders accelerate to an end right before main trading starts on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. Needless to say, buckle up. No, there's no temporary short on crypto at all, Carrie. Trust me, don't go short. Don't even bother with it. It's not worth the risk. and it's definitely pronounced long on almost every crypto pair. You go to those longer time frames and look at those charts, every one of them are pointing to a buy. And you're coming off on a Sunday, double-digit gains on just about every crypto in the market. So, yeah, there is no short to be seen. Right now, the entire market is in a bit of consolidation. Mostly because we don't know where U.S. money is going, but we'll know within an hour. Yeah, I mean they're definitely coming, Carrie. Been watching small short orders pop off all night. Every single one of them hit stop loss, so something's going to be quite pronounced. And I don't think we're going to see a traditional pullback and then another long because we've already had quite a significant pullback. I think we're going to have a pronounced breakout. Fortunately, the system I use is designed to catch that. So when we start seeing the longs, we'll know. I'm going to take a look at news clippings real quick, just to make sure I'm not missing anything. It is a bank holiday for the US dollar today. Same thing for the Canadian dollar. We have comments by one member of the US Federal Reserve today at 11:55 a.m. We have the meetings of the International Monetary Fund all day today. And we have the release of M2 money stock year over year for the Japanese yen this evening, along with the release of the monetary policy minutes of the Federal Reserve Board of Australia at 7:30 tonight. So not a lot of major news, but certainly enough to actually give a shock. I'm really going to be looking at that JPY M2 money stock because Japanese yen was really unusually strong the last week and a half or so. Now tomorrow at 11:20, we have comments by the chairman of the U.S. Federal Reserve, Chairman Powell. And right after that, we have comments by the governor of the Bank of England, Governor Bailey. So that's going to definitely move the market. And of course, the U.S. government is still shut down. So maybe some were delay in the release of some of this reporting coming out of the United States. But I think we can expect the markets to be flying tomorrow because the U.S. banks will be open again. Today, it may be a little slower than it's going to be for the rest of the week. It's not going to really affect the perpetual market, but it will affect spots. So don't expect much action in the world of Forex unless it involves cross pairs that don't involve the United States dollar or the Canadian dollar. All 33 seconds to the quarter of the hour, 7:45 a.m. Let's see what we end up getting. We do trade of 328 different assets. So it takes trading you about 3 minutes to get through all of those every 15 minutes. I do see a pop already. It's on ICX versus Tether. It's calling a short. Again, it has to go through all that resistance. It's just not going to happen. And it already exited the short position anyway. So this one's dead in the water. It's originally called at 6:30 in the morning, and it's already a dead trade an hour and 15 minutes later. I have 1 more minute for it to finish sweeping most of the assets, with the exception of futures, which are on a 5-minute time delay from the rest of the market. Almost there. All right, so nothing for 7:45 a.m. Next opportunity to enter the market will be at the top of the hour, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, 30 minutes before the opening bell of the New York Stock Exchange. So what else I can find? Hmm. Okay. I'm not seeing any interesting news on anything involving economics or the markets right now. So I've looked everywhere. Looks like it's going to remain a fairly quiet morning until we see what effect the New York Stock Exchange opening is going to have on the markets. We are seeing a very small pullback in the market right now, which should be helpful to set up some of these long buys. So we shall see. But right now, we're looking at a breakout of crypto or Bitcoin past about $116,000 with major resistance at 117,200. Gets past that, then it's basically a free for all for about 3,000 points, all the way up to about $120,000. A little less than 5 minutes to the top of the hour, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. Still not quite awake just yet, but I'm getting there. Minutes. All right, so 8 a.m. top of the hour. It's about a minute in, and no discernible calls right now. We are getting a recovery from this little pullback that it had. My concern, we're still stuck in what looks to be like consolidation right now between these order blocks. So until I see a breakout, I'm not convinced. And it's got to get through all of that to start taking off. So that's what we're waiting for. All right. So it looks like we have a few alerts. Breakout of the Asian range, which is good, but there's no call here, which means whatever it was invalidated. I guarantee you it was a short. Been seeing these pop up since about 2 a.m. this morning. Another invalidated short. I mean, it's just not going short. Period. It doesn't matter what it looks like in the short term. You can do it at your own peril, but I'm warning you, just stay away from them right now. What indicator are you using for the OBs? I don't know what you mean by OBs. What does the acronym stand for? Oh, it's the Lux Algo Order Block Detector. It's free on TradingView, and it automatically draws all your order blocks for you. And it's dynamic with the time frame, so it's a really good tool. Normally, I used to draw these by myself. Now I don't have to. So it's very close to breaking that first order block, which will be neat to see. I'll keep it up just for visual. But it's right at the 50% mark of that first order block of resistance. All right, we got about 3 minutes to 8:15, quarter of the hour. All right, saw this before around 2 a.m. on 6M. That's the futures on Mexican pesos. This isn't on our sell call for the list, but as you can see, that failed as well. All right, 8:15. No new signals yet. All right, so nothing at 8:15. Next opportunity into the markets at 8:30. That's the open bell of the New York Stock Exchange, and that's when I really expect to see some of this movement into the green. So grab something to drink, buckle up. It's about to get real. Sure thing, Kerry. I got a lot of neat things in my little toolkit. I don't really show it off all the time. So these are the other things that I use. I have an average daily range. That's going to tell me the ADR for the pair I'm looking at. I have an ATR, same thing. I have a divergence indicator that I use. So it automatically marks off divergence, minor and major, in both directions for me. I have a currency strength meter, which is very helpful. I use the TDI, helps me track where price really is, because candles can lie. And then up top, in addition to the order blocks, I've got pivots. I have where it can mark off fair value gaps. I have the strategy I'm using. And I have Poseidon. What that does is it marks off the top and the bottom of the existing price. So I can see the breakouts in live time. So it's a neat setup. We've now had 1, 2, 3 rejections off of this resistance. It's going to break through this eventually, but I don't think it's going to happen before the opening of the New York Stock Exchange, which we're about to get here in a second. few minutes to the open of the New York Stock Exchange. All right. Opening bell it is. Let's see this fireworks. Things should be moving much faster now. With 20 seconds in, Bitcoin's already up 180 points. A couple of 100 points now. Lots of new liquidity in the market right now. It just broke through that first area of resistance. It's tested the 50% of the one above. We've got an alert on Ethereum. This is probably a breakage of that short from earlier. It looks like our original call on Merle. His stop loss. Got a stop loss on the short on Ethereum. Same thing on Boink. Same thing on Spell. It's just not going short, dude. It isn't. Let's see. CeeLo, another short. Pepe, another short. Euro Huff. I don't think that's a buy. We got US 30 on the short. No. Turbo on the short. KSM. Hot. Sand. We're not any of these shorts. It's just not happening. See what else we got. NG. IO. Link. All shorts that got called. Every one of them hit stop loss. I didn't touch any of these in London. Not about to touch them now. You broke through that order block. It hasn't disappeared yet, but it will. Hmm. So we had a spike to 115,530, then a drop. We did have a deluge of 17 calls, most of which were shorts on crypto perpetuals. All of those are junk. Just avoid the FOMO of going short right now. All right. About 10 minutes left to 8:45 a.m. What's happening, T-Money? We're looking at the aftermath of the opening bell of the New York Stock Exchange and watching Bitcoin smash through resistance. So it's got 2 more to go. Then I expect it to take off for about another 3,000 points or so. So we'll see whether this happens live on stream or not, but it's done some damage so far. All right, so we've got a couple of futures. Let's take a look at those. And that is an invalidation on a short on YM1. And the same thing on MYM1. So, a lot of junk signals right now. We are not about to get fooled into losing money. Looks like it's again challenging that resistance for this order block. Let's see if we get a breakthrough this time. And we have a breakthrough of the second order block above current price. Now let's see if it breaks the third. And then we need a break of the Asian range, and then we're off into the races. Looking good so far. All right, so nothing for 8:45. We'll see what we get at the top of the hour at 9 o'clock. Still looking for a test and a breakout of both the Asian range and this last little order block above current price. To me, it's just a matter of time. We've already broken through two of them. Just heard another ding. Two of them. Both on LAUSDT. I guarantee you these are invalidations of shorts. Yep. And yep. Just ain't touching. So Bitcoin is now positive for the day after losing more than 800 points on pre-market trading. I expect that momentum to continue. But we need a breakout of this order block and the Asian range. If we go over time frame, we can see just how much room I'm talking about here. This is the daily. So we go down in time frame, we can start to see it. So it's already above the daily, above this range right here. Breakout is at just above the 800 EMA, which is 117, which is the blue line we're seeing on the 15-minute. And it's taken off. Go to the 2-hour, we can see it even more pronounced. Same thing on the 1-hour. Seems to be one more resistance at about 120-100. And there's resistance at the all-time high. Is it looking like that? There we go. All right, about 5 minutes to the top of the hour. Hopefully we can get a break in retest of the Asian range and its order block before the live ends. Be nice to see. We're in the midst of a nice recovery from a bottom of 102,000 all the way up above 115,000 in about 2 days. All right, it's now the top of the hour. We should see some extra liquidity here. And we should also see a push to test and or break his order block above current price. Again, another warning. Don't try to go short right now. It's just not a good idea. You're going to get yourself liquidated, or you're going to get yourself in a position where you're trying to save a bad trade. You just don't want to do that to yourself. wait for an opportunity to go long, and then go long. A good example of that would be Nero. It's down 29.26%. This would be a good cryptocurrency to look at going long on. Same thing with UX Links. It's down 8%. Same thing with Zen. 4%. All right. So got a futures call. Another invalidation of a short. Junk. All right, so 9:10 a.m., a small pullback, which isn't unexpected. Still waiting for a test and a breakout above 116 on Bitcoin. That'll clear this last little order block. There were 3 at one time for the Asian range. We've broken through 2 of them so far. As you can see, we've got absolutely massive support. Price is not going back down. Stop trying to go short. It's a stupid play at this point. Yeah, that's going to recover. It's a nice little jump. Ethereum's move is mirroring Bitcoin's. Again, we got an order block at the top of the Asian range. Price is somewhere in the middle with strong support. Not going back down. Got possible approval of up to 6 exchange traded funds by the Security Exchange Commission on Ripple. Take a look at it. It's nothing but support for price right now. So it could take off at any moment, particularly if there's an announcement that one of those things are going to get approval. Unlikely since the government is shut down. All right, we got a less than a minute to 9:15, the quarter of the hour. We'll see what we end up getting here. Again, we're going to 10 a.m. Central Standard Time for the New York session. That's when the London market closes. And because the US dollar is on bank holiday, it is unusually slow for a Monday. You can expect that not to be the case for the rest of the week. Things are going to be flying. If you haven't already done so, drop me a follow. Like the video and turn on your notifications to keep abreast of when I do go live in the market. This week is the first week that I've debuted a double session for the Quiet Storm. We do the London session from 2 a.m. Central Standard Time to 4 a.m. Central Standard Time. And then we do the New York session from 7:30 a.m. Central Standard Time to 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, Monday through Friday. In terms of where we currently are, and this is since February 3rd of this year when I started trading for the year, 858 wins, 653 losses for a win rate percentage of 56.78%. And the number of pips won, 3,323,720 pips. So we've done quite well so far this year. All right, it's now the quarter of the hour, about a minute and a half in. It's going to take up to 3 minutes for TradingView to get through all the assets that we do trade. We trade about 328 assets across multiple asset classes. That includes, I believe, 116 crypto perpetual pairs. We don't get anything for 9:15. Our next opportunity to enter the market will be at the half of the hour, 9:30 Central Standard Time. Should know in less than a minute. Also, we do trade futures. I believe 42 of them. Futures operate on a 10-minute delay from the rest of the markets. So in the middle of a 15-minute candle, you can sometimes get some overlap with futures calls. Anything else that's called in that time frame is either an invalidation of a previously called trade and or a hit on take profit. What we've been seeing all morning since about 2 a.m. there's a lot of signals being called short on cryptocurrency, and to date, every single one of those have hit stop loss. So I'll say it again. You really want to avoid going short right now. Not a good idea. Wait for an opportunity to go long. All right, so we're now at the half of the hour, like 2 minutes in. Still no alerts, relatively quiet. We do have a small drawback of Bitcoin to about the levels that it was pre-market for the New York Stock Exchange, so around 630-ish. Is around its 800 points in a hole, but it is a higher low. So I expect this to push higher after this. So if we aren't getting anything at 9:30, next opportunity in the market will be at 9:45 a.m. and the top of the hour at 10 a.m., which will be the last ticker that we'll take for the New York session. So we'll see what we get. And there we go with another recovery on that higher low. Again, this thing is not going short, guys. That's a 400 point recovery in a matter of minutes. Do not fall for the FOMO and try to go short. You will lose your money. So we're looking for a break of 115,800. That'll break that order block. And we'll probably have enough momentum to break out of the Asian range from the prior day. Otherwise, we're going to be in consolidation all day until the U.S. banks open tomorrow morning. At any rate, got a little less than 3 minutes left to go to the quarter of the hour, 9:45 a.m. We'll see what action we end up getting on the charts. Been a pretty quiet morning. Again, there's bank holidays for both the U.S. dollar and the Canadian dollar. There's not a lot of volume coming out of North America right now. Hmm. Two minutes left to go to the quarter of the hour. All right, it's now 9:45. We do have a formation of yet another order block above current price. So showing resistance at about 115,250. See if the technicals have changed. Neutral and a sell, a weak one at that. But that's where we are. Long term still short a sell. The swing is on a buy. Okay. Still holding strong. We do have a position open on Bitcoin. We entered on Friday at 110,875.91. And we're up several thousand points. So not doing half that. What I should have done is been aggressive and entered right at 102. Because if all the charts would have got there and I waited, I shouldn't have. Then I'd be way, way, way up. And it was right at a pivot too. So if you go to the daily and you throw on pivots, you can see it was right at 102. That's when it reversed. That's why I'm confident it's getting to at least 123, if not higher. $123.5 to be exact. We'll see if it stays above that trend line. But at the moment, it's still at a higher low. Okay. See what we got here. About 3 minutes to the top of the hour, it did break that trend line. Got about 2 minutes left to go to the top of the hour. We'll see what we get. If we get nothing, then we'll go ahead and end the session. Be back again at 2 a.m. in the morning, Central Standard Time, for the London session tomorrow. few more seconds, and here we go. It'll take about 3 minutes to get through this. Looks like we have a new bottom at 113,800. All right, that looks like a wrap for us. Not getting anything at 10 a.m. See you guys tomorrow morning for London. Cheers.